What is up, everybody? Welcome to episode number 6 of the Stay Humble Hustle Hard podcast. I'm your host, Tucker Bearden. On the Stay Humble Hustle Hard podcast, we interview the men and women building this country one business at a time so we can all learn how to get our hustle on. You know, I actually believe that if a person obtains knowledge capable of improving the lives of others, it is a raw act of selfishness to withhold that information from the world. Well, here, every person has a message. Every message has a purpose. Well, here on the Stay Humble Hustle Hard podcast, that message gets heard. Today's guest, I cannot wait to bring her in. Today's hustler is man, this is gonna be one for the books. This one's really gonna be it's gonna be one to remember. Today's hustler is Avril Jones. I don't even know where to start. This when it comes to the marketing industry, I don't know of anybody else that is bringing this caliber to the table. I mean, Avril, she's the president of a branding and marketing and consulting company. She's worked with Mercedes-Benz, Lexus. I mean, this lady has worked with some of the top companies in the industry. She's got years of experience on Wall Street. Let's see, a few of them: Mercedes-Benz, Lexus. She's actually worked with CSI and Star Trek on their marketing. She's even worked with Barbie, Miss America, and Fox News. And the list just continues to go on. She's helped develop a lot of artists, one being, a few of them being Gabe singing, Tim Mahoney, Jay Watts. She's also the author of Blind Trust, where she actually tells the story of the real corruption that goes on in Wall Street and the journey that was taken to get to the American dream. Now we're gonna see if we can get old Avril in here. I appreciate anybody and everybody for joining me on today's live. Our guest, our hustler of the day, is mind-blowing. When we get her in here real quick, let's see what we can do. Avril, where you at? A little late coming into the broadcast, but that's all right. By the way, I do apologize to y'all if I seem a little off today. That's because I have a horrific toothache. I've been having a cavity problem of late, and I don't really understand why, because I take such good care of my teeth. I'm one of those people who obsessively brushes their teeth. But let's see, Avril, I don't see you. There you are. There she is. Okay, let's bring her in here. Over this. I'm getting, all right, man, I'm smiling so much I'm actually making my tooth hurt. But, hey, let's bring in today's hustler, the hustler of the day, Miss Avril Jones. Hey, this lady, for those of y'all who are just tuning in, she's done so much that I actually have to have a list of the things this lady has done. Max, thank you for joining.
Where'd you go?
I'm sorry. I'm so sorry about that.
Don't worry.
I'm so sorry about there's someone who's trying to sell me something really bad and they won't leave me alone on Facebook.
Okay. It'll only go away.
I did. I mean, they know I'm going live, so they decide to call me while I'm live. I think it's a sales tactic of some kind to make me so mad I buy your product. I don't know.
Uh-oh. Okay, well, let me Okay, there we go. Let's go like this. Good morning.
First of all, I want to start by saying thank you so very much for joining me today. I've been looking really forward to this. I know that you've done so much that I can't do what I normally do. I normally read people's bio, and I have a very good memory, so I memorize it and I can spit it off. But you've done so much. I can't. There's like here for those of y'all who are just joining in, thank you so very much for joining us on today's episode number 6 of the Stay Humble Hustle Hard podcast, where we interview the men and women that are building this country one business at a time. Everybody has a message, and every message has a purpose. Here, that message gets heard. Today's hustler of the day is Avril Jones. Like I said, I got to have a list to check this out. Just share a few things with y'all. She's the president of a branding and marketing consulting company. She's worked with some of my personal dream vehicle. I mean, some of the vehicles that I dreamed to even get to see in person. She's worked with them firsthand. Mercedes Benz, Lexus. She's even worked with CSI, Star Trek, and Barbie. Like, wow. Like,
Yeah.
and she's worked with Miss America, Fox News. The list continues to go on. She's helped develop some great artists out there. A few being Gabe singing, Tim Mahoney, and Jay Watts. She's also the author of her book that will be coming out soon, if not already out, Blind Trust, that will be developed into a movie. So be looking for that in theaters. I'm really excited. So let's get into this. I'm so hyped about it. For those of y'all, by the way, if I seem a little off today, it's because I have a horrific toothache. I don't know why, but it hurts. And I smile a lot, so it causes a lot of pain. But that's besides the point. Avril, I'm just ecstatic to have you on the show. So I would like you to please share with everyone, who is Avril Jones and where are you from? Like, where do you come from?
Well, thank you, first of all, Tucker, for having me on. I really appreciate it. And then congratulations on your show and all of the success that you've been having this year. You've had a great coach. And then I just also want to say, hey, hi, John. Hi, Peter. It's nice to see you. Thanks, everybody, for joining me, whether you're doing it live or from a replay. So, and then we have just one point of business. Everybody has a hard time with my name, and they want to go to the Old English pronunciation or that famous Canadian singer, but my name is actually pronounced Avril. Now, some of my older friends will have a problem with this because I was too shy in junior high to correct anybody, but it is a French word. Avril Michel is actually my name, and I've Americanized it as much as possible, but it is Avril. It's like a thrill to meet you, Tucker.
It's very, I'm sorry about that.
Okay.
I have a tendency to butcher people's names, but that's beautiful, Avril.
Thank you, everybody.
Oh, that's
so that's the first point of business. So I'm originally from Maine. I'm a maniac. And I have a couple of people on here from Maine today. And I love the state of Maine. I've been a brand ambassador for the state of Maine since I was, I think, 16 or 17. Good morning, James. Thanks for joining. And yeah, I've done a lot of things. And you know, really to answer that question is because at a very early age, you know, I was a military brat, Air Force, go Air Force. And my parents really raised me. First of all, I was the only girl I had 3 older brothers. So my competition was always, what could I do better the next day than I had the day before to keep up with the Joneses, the Jones boys. That was the big thing in my family. And because there was a 5-year gap between the youngest and myself, who was my best friend, you know, I always pushed myself because I had to be as good as they were. So that's why I've done so many things. And a lot of that pushed me off into doing things. I don't know. Are you hearing that?
Oh yeah, I'm hearing you. You're breaking up just a little bit, but it's all right.
Okay. Good morning, Kim. Thank you for joining me. Kim's one of my friends from Minneapolis. So hey, thanks for joining us. So yeah, we.
How do you see?
What?
How do you see? How do you see who joins? I've been trying to figure that out.
Oh, I don't know. It just comes up on my screen so I can see.
Okay. No, I'm not cool enough.
Oh, stop it. Stop it. Yeah, I mean, I did get a chance to work with all those companies. As a matter of fact, I was actually the finance manager for Mercedes-Benz as well as the salesperson. And yep, and then I went on to Lexus and Jaguar. And it's really funny because when I was born, my dad owned an XKE Jaguar. So that's what I came home in. And then my mom had a Mercedes. So those have been in my life since day number one. And it's really interesting that I ended up going to work for them. But because I had those, early beginnings, kind of competing with myself to be a part of the boys, I was such a tomboy when I was growing up. The only thing girly about me was
So you're tough.
Mom, I was a tomboy. Yep, 100%. Absolutely. I climbed trees every day after school. We used to have this tree in our neighborhood called Old Faithful. And I don't know how tall it was, but it was really tall.
You there? Uh-oh.
And I held the, yeah, somebody called me too. I thought I had just did not disturb. And I held the record for climbing the tree in the neighborhood. I held that record for like 3 years.
Wow.
I was a big tomboy.
That's awesome. Me, I personally keep it country. I love it. I love it, love it, love it. I have a question though. I didn't. This just came to mind. I hear how in down home folks don't pronounce things how they're supposed to be pronounced. Hence your name. I messed up. My bad. But when you said Jaguar, you pronounced it Jaguar. Jaguar. I'm having trouble even saying it that way. Does it bother you? Did it ever bother you when people say Jaguar instead of what you said?
So I also grew up, all of my brothers. Can you guys still hear me? For some reason, my volume went down. Okay. So all of my brothers were born in England. So I have pronunciations for some words that are different. For example, the word W-A-T-E-R. I usually spell. I try not to say it because so many people just look at me like, what did you just say? So I do have a few words that I pronunciate in English pronunciation.
Wait a minute. I know you don't want. I would love to hear you say water.
No.
Come on, please.
No, that in D-R-A-W-E-R, I always spell.
Oh, you're spelling one. Okay, I had to think about it for a second there.
What was that?
Well, hey, man, that's awesome. So you say you grew up a tomboy, you was tough. So that's probably where a lot of your competitive spirit came from. The fact that when you're younger, you having all them boys around, they're fighting for dominancy, and obviously you came out on top. So, so I have to ask you. I know, and I'm sure people around the world know, but I'd love for you to share with our guests, what is your hustle exactly? If you had to niche it down, what is your hustle all about?
My hustle really is helping other people's dreams come true. I just was given this God gift where I'm able to have somebody tell me what they want to do. And in my brain, I create a movie and I'm already at the end by the time you finish telling me. So that's really what it's all about. It doesn't matter what it is because to me, it's just another I kind of stayed away from the medical side of things because I had a couple of doctors in the family and whatnot. Sorry, I can't find my, my iPod holder, so I'm holding this in here today. All over the place. And that's really what it is. It's, trying to find that one component that exists inside of somebody that they believe in. Because so many times people are afraid to go out and do something, because they feel they're going to fail. And another part of my messaging to them is we have two choices. You've heard me say this before on some of our masterminds. Fear is one of two things. You can either face everything and run, which is a complete disaster, and it is a complete recipe for failure. Or look at ourselves in the mirror, look at our weaknesses, and face everything and ride. Because once we have established what our weakness is, you don't have anything to fail on. Everything is up from there. That's ground zero. That's Bob.
Wow. That's beautiful. I'll tell you what, you're blowing it away. So I have to ask you, what, I mean, I'm really curious about how you're going to answer this. What's your favorite part of this journey?
Oh, I have so many favorite parts. Being a mom, because that was a miracle. It wasn't supposed to happen. It didn't happen once. It happened twice. Good morning, Lisa. Lisa's a really good friend of mine from prep school. So good morning. Good morning. She's on her journey to move out to Arizona from the East Coast. So congratulations. I hope it's all going well. Yeah, there's so many different parts of the journey. I think this journey did start the day that I was born. It really did. Hey, girl. Good morning. I was so blessed with so many amazing people, my daughters included, because that was and has been for 21 years a huge part of my journey. But before they came, I was blessed to have met some people in Maine who got me involved with the Miss America pageant. I was a state title holder, and I still support the organization, and I never had a sister. That I only had brothers. So a wonderful, beautiful, amazing woman, Valerie Crooker, now Valerie Crooker Clemens. I think of her as my older sister. I worked with her. She helped formulate some of my really good habits. And I've been able to meet so many amazing people. And through all those connections, which I still use to help other people succeed and rise up, that's really been probably the most favorite part of my journey. And that also goes to the fact that I was able to also introduce my daughters to these amazing people, and hopefully give them a foundation of understanding that you can, if you think of something, it's there for a reason. God gives us these things, or our higher power gives us these things that we believe and are passionate about, such as you, Tucker, right? Because we have the resources within us or surrounding us. If somebody doesn't come into your life, they're not meant to be there. If somebody doesn't stay in your life, they're not meant to be there. If the resources don't show up, it's not the timing yet. That's what I completely believe. Good morning, Lauren. He had such a great show. Oh my gosh, loved it.
Oh man, it was man. I was stuck on the screen this morning when he had I mean, it was a shaman on there.
I know.
It was
so
it was
beautiful.
bad. It had me hyped. I was all in that. I was all in it. Yeah, but so that right there, I love that. The fact that you were able to build that foundation for your girls, because I mean, in today's time, it's not very often that a parent leaves behind something and that a child can actually strive towards it, can actually work towards. Most people these days, the thing they leave behind with their children is trauma and bad memories and or lists of what not to do. So that right there is, it warms my heart to know that you are out there not only inspiring the world, but you're showing the next generation how to win and how to inspire others. So I want to just for just a second thank everybody for joining. I appreciate y'all for coming in. Man, like, let me know what y'all are thinking about this. Like, I'm personally, I'm almost at a loss of words at everything that she's done. I don't even know what topic to stand on at this point, because I mean, you've worked with Star Trek. Like, what was what you did their marketing? Like, what was that all about?
So many times organizations will hire me. First of all, good morning, Rich. Good morning, Vincent. Thanks for joining us. Good morning, Lauren. Again, great show. For all of you that don't know how Tucker and I know each other, I just want to segue and say that Lauren Michaels Harris is the reason that we are friends and know one another. And we're also all working on the Power of We. It's Power of We Symposium, which takes place this September 20th at the Stan Mansion in Chicago. You guys have probably seen me post about it everywhere. We're looking for donors. We're looking for organizations to come on board and help us with these at-risk youth. So I'll be posting more about it, talking more about it. I took a little hiatus from it while I finished up the book. Good morning, Tammy. Tammy's a friend of mine from Minneapolis. Hi, honey. Thank you for joining. So to answer your question, Tucker, you know, did I remind me what?
No, I was just asking you about Star Trek. I was like, because I know that all these companies you work with the one that stuck out to me besides Mercedes Benz was Star Trek and Barbie. I was like, well, I mean, what would you like? What?
So a lot of companies will hire, you know, independent consultants. In this particular case, they wouldn't, because it was CBS and Mattel. And somebody referred me from LinkedIn. As a matter of fact, up until this year, I've never had a website because most of my, you know, my contacts would refer me. And it was it started out as a side job. ME&C started out as Maverick Enterprises and Consulting as a side gig while I was in the finance services industry. So 2009, I was done with the financial services industry, and I began, but I had opened up the company in 2006, and I started working basically fundraising for charities because I didn't want anything to do with quarterback that I went through. In 2010, I was diagnosed supposedly with cancer, lymphoma. Didn't happen. It was a misdiagnosis. I had very bad endometriosis, and that led to 8 years of surgery, basically. So, I'm sorry, 6 years of surgery. So while I was going through this in 2013, I had 4 clients that I regularly worked with, and I decided I didn't want to do that anymore because, you know, being a business owner, sometimes people don't pay you. And it became very important as a single mom for me to have money that I could absolutely, you know, count on. So I said, I will go out and hire myself out to an organization where I can go to work every single day, but do what I want to do in the way that I think it needs to be done. And Mattel and CBS were working at the Mall of America as the largest exhibition in the mall. And they had a German company called EMS Exhibits. They have basically around the world many Disneylands that they have tried to do. It's called experiential marketing. And I loved the concept,
Okay.
and I was hired. And so, yes, we actually took over the marketing campaign from the Mall of America themselves. They weren't
Wow.
doing as good a job as could have been. And so I took it over, and it was amazing. I'll just say I was there during Leonard Nimoy's death. I was able to put together the memorial that CBS decided they would use, and we had a big day. People came out. I don't even know how many people came out to pay homage to him. And it was just amazing. I mean, there's so much history behind the making of Star Trek. And the father-son
Wow.
story is phenomenal. Now, they still have an exhibit, I believe, at the MGM Grand down in Las Vegas. Of course, I left the company about 12 months later and kind of sent them on their own way. It is no longer at the Mall of America, so I wasn't fired or anything like that. It was just a temporary position, but it's a great resume builder. And then Barbie,
Yeah.
Barbie, one of my favorite things to do because, I mean, I grew up loving Barbie. So Mattel was going through a recreation of her, whole messaging, girl power, loved it. So I was able to also be involved in her, birthday celebrations and anniversaries, the new dolls that came out, the new diverse dolls that came out, and was able to put some, a spin on that and just help not only moms but dads really get involved with their daughters' dreams. That's really what Barbie's all
Mm-hmm.
about. Is dream big, and you can be anything. I don't even know how many professions Barbie has claimed to have. So in real life, I guess that also sort of was a foundation. I didn't really play with a lot of Barbie dolls, but I always watched the Dream House, and especially when I had two daughters, right? I couldn't get away from it.
Wow. I have to ask though, did you while working with I'm not into the Star Wars and Star Trek community, so I don't know if saying the Trekkies is offensive, but I think that's their nickname. Did you learn how to do that?
I think I started doing that because I also watched Star Trek. I had three brothers, so I watched
So
Star Trek.
is it offensive to say Trekkie?
It's not offensive. No, no, no.
Okay.
As a matter of fact, this weekend Comic-Con was going on in San Diego, and as you know, I was in La Jolla at the same time, and we actually had some Trekkies come in because of one of the exhibits that was going on during the time. So yeah, no, Trekkie's not offensive that I know of.
Okay, cool.
I mean,
I just want to make sure. I just want to make sure because I have a tendency, being that I have Asperger's. One of the things that I do,
right.
unfortunately, is offend people on accident because I'm just blatantly saying something and not. I don't. It doesn't process that it's a bad thing to say until afterwards, and I'm like, oh man, darn. So I have to. I want to know if somebody wanted to get into the industry that you're in, if somebody wanted to learn how, I mean, you've obviously you grew up around this type of industry, but say there's someone who they have no background in that. If they wanted to step into the industry, what steps would you give them? What would you say?
Which industry? The marketing industry, really, if you think about it, every time we say hi to somebody, we're marketing ourselves, right? So the marketing industry really, you can always look for mentors. I mentor on LinkedIn. I usually have about 5 to 6 college students.
Avril, you're breaking up really bad.
Okay, can you hear me now? Is this better?
Okay. I'm sorry, Avril. I'm sorry, I said Avril again. My bad.
Let me put
Avril,
my headset and see if this is better.
it's really breaking it. It's
Okay.
getting sketchy.
Hang on. Is this better?
Is it?
Is this better?
You're froze. I don't know if you can hear me or see me, but Yeah, you're frozen on the screen.
Is this better?
That's
Hello?
say something. Okay,
Hi.
that's a lot better.
Okay. Can you see me?
Hello,
Hello, can you see me?
can you hear me?
Yep.
Uh-oh, we're having technical difficulties. I apologize, everybody, for this. It's just service issues. You know how cell phones are, or
Can
these
you
days.
can you hear
Uh,
me?
I can say something so I can see if you're in, or if you're connected,
Hi.
if we can hear you.
Okay, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can't. We can't. It's kind. It can't understand nothing you're saying. It's like Mandarin Chinese.
Okay, is this Tucker? Boy, let's see. Lisa's saying on Facebook, we can see and hear you both, and I can still see myself. Can you hear me, you guys? Tucker, you're frozen.
Uh, I'm frozen. That's a lot better. You're a lot better now. Am I frozen?
Okay.
Hello?
Nope, there you are. Now I can see you. Hi.
Perfect. Okay.
Okay, good. So we just had a momentary glitch. Sorry about that. Good morning, Lisa. Good morning, Mary Sterling. It's nice to see you. I think always having mentors is really a good thing. And so just reaching out to people that are in the industry, you can always reach out to me. If I can't help you, I can certainly direct you. Obviously, if you're looking to get into the entertainment industry, there's also mentors there. If you're a college student and you're looking for the connection with Miss America and scholarships, you can always go out to the website or look at your local pageants. So I just think really trying to stay connected to people who are in the industry, it's not that difficult to jump into it, but you definitely need to have persistence and be resilient, tenacity.
Okay, I'm sorry. I thought you froze for a second there again. But hey, that's the advice I believe that anybody in any industry could take. I mean, if you're trying to get in your foot in the door anywhere, that persistence and connections are the most important things that you're going to come across. So because you want to keep fighting towards what it is that you want, like that little kid that wants a piece of candy, but you told them no, they're going to scream, cry, and fight until they get it. So you got to be able to do that and collaborate with people, connect with people.
Right.
It's not about these days. Knowing something's great, but it ain't about what you know, it's who you know. So I want to know, in your own words, this is a bit of a zinger. In your own words, what does staying humble really mean to you?
Oh, that's not a hard question to answer at all. I think staying humble really is more about other people than yourself. And hopefully it's something that, my book, actually, lots of characters in the book are humble. Being humble really is about giving what God has given you as a talent and giving that away without expecting anything back. I think that's really important in every single thing that we do, whether it's giving love, giving gifts, just giving of ourselves. And I don't like to say being in service because I think that there's a negativity because that word service has,
Mm-hmm.
for history meant different
Mm-hmm.
things to different people. It can mean being enslaved, but I do think that having a mental attitude of allowing service to happen, whether it's allowing people to help you or helping other people. So I think that's what being humble is all about. Being kind, giving of our time graciously.
That's beautiful. Thank you so very much for sharing that. So if anybody wanted to connect with you, if they wanted to work with you, they wanted to hire you, if they wanted to get in your circle, how would they go about doing that?
Well, I'm all over the internet on LinkedIn for sure. That's probably the easiest and most, available. I do not allow everybody in my inner circle outside of business, and that's just simply because I do work with some celebrities, and so I have to, protect them as well. So on LinkedIn and on Instagram, I do have business pages as well as on Facebook. That's the easiest way. And for the first time in 11 and a half years, at the end of this week, I will be launching my brand new website, MENC Inc. I'm very excited. It's a conglomeration of everything that I have. You guys can see all of the things that I have done, all the people that I've worked with, links to their sites. And yeah, so after this week, everybody will be able to connect with me, and I'll certainly drop in the information before we leave today. Thank you for asking.
That's awesome. Hey, but before we get into our next question, I want to thank everybody that's here right now. I appreciate y'all for watching. For some reason, my screen will not allow me to see who all is actually watching right now. So, like, let's see some hearts if y'all are enjoying what you're seeing. If you're feeling this and you would like to say you want to connect, man, let's see some hearts down there. I want to see some comments. Drop down in the comments if you're watching, what does staying humble really mean to you? And what is it that you feel that you've gotten out of this interview that you can take into your day? But I have a final question for you, and this is the zinger. I've gotten some answers. The answers that you get for this question truly are life-changing. I really believe that they are. And that is that if you only had 5 minutes to live and the entire world could hear you speak, what would be your message to the world?
Again, I think it's just the message that I've always had. Probably the biggest is you can live your dream. God has given you gifts, they're talents that you have the innate resources to make it happen. So go ahead and do it. Don't let anybody else steal your joy for a day, for a moment, for a second. Life is just absolutely too short. That's number one. One of my favorite quotes is by Ralph Waldo Emerson. Do not go where the path may lead. Instead, make your own trail. So be a trailblazer, be a maverick. That's why I named my company, because I have that spirit that is just, it's, wildly tamed, I guess. Say yes. One of my favorite all-time right now gurus and mentors is Lisa Nichols. And she says, you've got passion inside of you. The first yes is that tamed one, that you say yes to the universe, yes to your friends. The second one is the one that takes you over the top. That's the one that keeps you going. That's the one that's going to win your dream. I think that's really, we all creatures and beings on this planet. We all have special gifts that we need to share. Everybody has a story to tell. And that's what we're here for, is to help one another, whether it's reaching out and pulling somebody across the finish line, pushing somebody up to the next ladder rung, or simply standing by someone's side and supporting them. They don't know where they're going. So I think that's the message that I would like everybody to, to walk with. Here to raise each other up and to lift each other up and to stand in support of one another. We can't do it alone.
It's like Lauren Harris. You always hear him say on Bathrobe Moments. It says alone we can't do much, but together we can do great things. I believe that's how he says it. But I believe it was Zig Ziglar that said to get what you want, just help enough people get what they need or they want, something of that nature. And I believe in what it is that you're saying, because that's what I always tell people, is you be the blessing for others and you'll live within blessings, because we we receive in this world an exact proportion to that of which that we give. And I really, really, really appreciate you coming onto the show. It's been amazing. You always bring such great quality to the table everywhere I've seen you, and I cannot wait to see you in person at the Power of We Symposium, because that's another thing too. Your company will be doing all the heavy lifting for the Power of We Symposium. I know that before we leave, could you tell us a little bit about that?
Well, I'll make a correction. I'm not doing all of the heavy lifting. Lauren Michaels Harris is absolutely. My participation in this was to help put together the sponsorship deck, and also help with the vendors and put together a couple of the, sites, and really give some consulting for the Power of We when we began. Now, once I've taken this sabbatical, one of the other components is to reach out to sponsors and try to bring more sponsors in, the media, that type of thing. So that's really what I'll be doing. I'll also hopefully be presenting some gifts to the organization. My book is on its way out, the first part of that book. By the way, I'll just show you this, so I'm so excited.
Yeah, we need to talk about that as well.
And so the first thing that we're going to be pulling out is the ebook. So I've just been working on the covers for that. I'm really excited. And the Power of We really is this dynamic night of 12 national speakers that are speaking to their power of we. And what is the power of we? The power of we is that power that we innately resonate with, that pulls us through and over all of the hurdles of life. For me, it is the dream, living your dream. That is my power of we. And in order for everybody to succeed in life, no matter what you are, a professional athlete, a student in college or high school, you have to have something that is your anchor. And that's what these 12 dynamic speakers, 6 women, 6 men, are going to be talking about. And we're doing this because Lauren had a vision of how to help at-risk youth across America. And as a lot of these children that live in our inner cities are foster children, and they're coming from a not so positive environment. And that's what these 12 speakers are going to do. Lift them up, like I was talking about, raise their hopes up, empower them, edify them, encourage them. It's as Lauren Michaels says, it's a soup that is being made with everybody's components added. You bring a tomato. Yes, it's soup for the soul, and everybody that participates really will get something out of it, especially these children. So we're looking for things to put in the swag bag, whether you have a book, a t-shirt, a toothbrush. The whole idea is coming together and joining in, because once you do it, somebody else will do it, and so forth and so on. It's like that Herbal Essence commercial. You tell someone, I'll tell someone, and so on and so on and so on.
Exactly. And I that's what the Power of We Symposium. I'll be one of the speakers there. I'm speaking to the power of tranquility. And I tell people that when they ask me, they say, well, what does the Power of We Symposium mean to you? What is it like to you? And to me, personally, it's an opportunity to truly get to work within my purpose. Because I always say, if you can be the spark that lights the way through the darkness for even a single soul, then your entire life has been worthwhile.
Right.
So, and that is what we're going to be doing at the Power of We. We are going to be that spark in that thick darkness that those kids are growing up in and around, give them that second thought and that ability to see that there is a different way. But what I really want to hear about before we go is your book that's coming out. I planned on talking about it earlier, but we had those technical difficulties, and I ain't gonna lie, I got distracted. So let's hear about your book and when you plan on releasing the hard copy as well as the ebook.
Very, very, very excited. So this book is really a culmination of what I have seen throughout, probably not going to lie, over 20 years, but really the last 10 years, we've had so many tumultuous situations happen to the American dream, the American family, and America itself. And that didn't just start in 2010. It actually started much earlier than that with the financial crisis, and that started in 2003, 4, and 5, and then it really bubbled up in 2007, 8, and 9. And everybody knows. You say mortgage crisis, and what comes to mind? Well, I was living that. I was living that. Most of the people in my life were living that because I was in financial services. So I jumped from the auto finance industry over to the mortgage industry. And I started out in residential mortgages, in broker shops, your local broker shops. And then I jumped over to the wholesale world and started working with companies such as Bear Stearns and Lehman Brothers and Wells Fargo and Citibank. And, I can name so many of them. And during that time, so many people were losing jobs and homes and whatnot. The book Blind Trust is a double entendre. Number one, because I feel that we all have some kind of a blind trust, whether it's a blind trust in a spouse, a blind trust in a job, blind trust in our parents as we're toddlers and growing up into teenagers. We blindly trust these entities. And blind trust in our higher deity, right? Which is God or whoever you consider to be your higher power. But there's also a financial industry term, and that is blind trust, which is a financial instrument that corporations or even our own president right now is hiding behind. And I say that because it's an anonymous, corporate financial instrument. And so I thought it was just a really good term to talk about the things that happen. These characters are fictional, based on and inspired by true events, obviously, but they really edify and exemplify the daily struggles that we all go through. And whether, we know it or not, we as a human being can only rely on our own experiences to push us through, to take those hurdles. And this is just, 10 or 15 characters who are, some of them are muddling through life, some of them are flying through life, and some of them just don't make it through life. But it's a story about the twists and turns and the resiliency of the human character and the questions that we ask ourselves on a daily basis and, different perspectives. It's definitely a story that has a lot of fun, a lot of twists and turns. If you were on my very first podcast, you may have seen maybe a naked person walking through, because that's kind of like what blind trust is. You never know what's going to happen. You never know how you're going to react to it. But that's all we actually have, is how we react to situations. So it's just a real fun book. I like it. I think it's going to be enjoyable for many different ages, and hopefully it'll make people think. And then maybe even encourage them.
I didn't mean to interrupt you. I was just saying I can't wait to get my copy. I want to see it, and then I really want to see the movie. That's what I'm going to be. I'm be ecstatic about. I don't watch TV, but I know. But a movie about one of your friends, why? How could you not be excited about that? And I see that today you put a wall behind you so you can't allow the naked people to come through. I noticed.
Well, okay, so I will just talk about that. I'm traveling, and in my traveling, I am staying with some friends, and we were just about to go to San Diego for my big, pre-launch for Blind Trust, and I had not been feeling well at all. I had a huge migraine for about 4 days, and it was 6 o'clock in the morning here. And my buddy Jeff had to get up and go to work, and he just came walking out, had no idea that I would be up and doing a live, because oftentimes I'll be talking to either my daughter or a friend on Zoom, or maybe even a client. And I'm not usually, showing the whole entire living room. And he just came out.
So you do normally, so it's normal for him to be naked on camera, just not naked on live.
No, I've never, ever do that. I've never seen him do that. So I didn't know, because I can't see out of this eye, very well. So he was walking on this side of me, and until he got in front of me, I had no idea why Lauren was making the faces he was making. I just kept going on with the interview, and he's like, and I'm like, what is he doing? So as you can see, that's actually not a wall. I just had it moved over this way. That's the living room. So he came walking out of the hallway over there, and I had no idea until he got directly in front of me. Yeah. So it's
by the way, you do.
Yeah, Cor. Yeah.
You do a wonderful Lauren Harris impression. When you did that face, you did. I love it. I love it. He does that. He does that all the time. He'll get all up in the camera. He's like,
like it's gonna be right there. It's like, dude, you still have a camera in front of you.
Make your face get close, like y'all didn't see nothing.
I know. I know. It's really funny. So normally I would go like that. Today I just moved a little bit more like this. So anyway, yeah.
Safety precaution.
And the other thing that's really fun about, you talked about the movie, the cover of my book, I just wanted to give a shout out, because one of the reasons I was in La Jolla this weekend was to support a friend of mine from Italy and his whole entire team. He's a director, he's a photographer, he has major awards in Italy. Martin Scorsese is friends with him, and it's just an amazing, contact. He was here this weekend at the La Jolla International Fashion and Film Festival, and he was up for 9 nominations. He actually ended up winning an award, which I think is one of the best awards he could have won, because it's actually an inaugural award. But he is going to be my director of photography for the film. I'm so excited. And so I was here to support him. Got to see him win an award, and he's also going to be doing the photography for my posters. So I actually have somebody from Minneapolis who we shot the cover of the book 2 years ago, and the book is a progression. The book cover is a progression of what's going to happen going into the movie. So as soon as I get all of the letters of interest from the people that I have been speaking to. So I'm really excited about all of the fun things that are going to go on with this. So yeah,
that's gonna be awesome. I'm really looking forward to it. Do you have any idea what year the movie might come out?
It'll be out next year.
Oh wow, that is fast.
Yeah.
Y'all are really putting in work. When I say year, I say what year, because most movies they take a while. Either they take a while, or the people doing them are procrastinators. Because
so much work that goes into it. So and you as a person doing this, this is my first movie. Lord knows how long it will take. That is what I'm saying. But again, this is something that I have been working on forever. As a matter of fact, I wanted to do the movie and not the book. And so I began the screenplay for this, I think in 2011, but I didn't start writing the book till 2014. It's been a long time.
Wow. Okay, so that's interesting. I can't blame you about wanting to do the movie, but over the book. But honestly, you know, they go together. So it's gonna work. It's gonna work its way out, and I believe that you're going. It's gonna be a blockbuster. It's gonna be a hit because the story in itself is so powerful, and it's truly it's a journey to through the American dream and getting to see. I mean, that's like you see books and that entail what happened in 9/11, where I mean I'm sure you know better than anyone what happened when those towers fell. People were like sell, 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 and then you had all these other people that were like buy, 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 and they bought up everything, and it was how a crisis that was so detrimental to so many people was actually a blessing for some people. And I know that sounds terrible to say it that way, but you know, from a business standpoint, it was. And the I don't know much about the crisis you were in because I wasn't in the industry and I don't know a lot about the industry. But do you know this might be a bit of a broad question. If it is, just let me know. Do you know what caused it? What like was there any specific thing that like did poo hit the fan somewhere and like was there like is it something what is it? What happened?
I was waiting for that. That was the first question Lauren asked. Yeah, you know, lack of oversight on many parts in the financial services industry, especially the mortgages. Wall Street definitely was running, and I'm just going to say still is in some respects running what happens here. You know, I think now the American people are waking up and understanding that lobbyists are there for a reason. But what really happened, honestly, was lack of oversight. We do have laws that are in place, but those laws weren't very well communicated at all to consumers. And so when they did mortgages, when they did, you know, certain financial instruments, you know, they were basically saying, here, we're going to borrow money from X, Y, and Z bank, believing that we own the property. But if you really think about it, Tucker, you really don't own anything unless it's paid off in full, right? You don't. Because anybody that you're borrowing money from has the ability to snag it from you for this one payment, two payments, three payments. They have the ability to do them. So the lack of oversight, the lack of consumer protection, and the communication of what people were really able to do as far as protecting themselves, just a lack of everything. In 2010, you know, they did pull together the Federal Consumer Bureau of Protection, which still exists today, and that was to oversee financial services, banking community. So, excuse me. Did you hear that last?
You're here. I'm sorry, I was being too still. I looked like I was frozen. Sorry.
So hopefully that answered the question. Was there one entity? I think Lehman Brothers took the hit most, obviously, and it's very sad. I will say that you hit something right on target, and that is this is an incredible story about the American dream. It's also a story, by the way, one of the only stories being told by females. Now, most other stories surrounding this have all been male dominated. So once again, I'm proud to bring a different perspective to what happened. And it's also nice about the success of the billionaires who are behind. This is a story of employees who were directly impacted and how families were impacted. And I fictionalize the characters, but not any one character is a person that I now is a melting of situations that many, many, many people went through. You know, during that time, I know personally 25 people who committed suicide. The suicide during that time exponentially went up, and I talk about it in the book, actual facts, and obviously document the, surveys and the data that came from that. But one of the entities in that era that was really hard were the teenagers, the teenagers were really, really, really harmed because they were watching otherwise very stable, middle class and upper middle class families fall apart because their parents were losing homes, jobs. In my particular incident, I did lose my home. I was 4.5 months ahead in payments, but robo-signing took place, and the judge didn't understand what the hell was going on, even though I explained it. He couldn't understand it, and more importantly, didn't even believe that that was possible. But being from the inside, I experienced it, but he had no not to be able to say, oh, I get it. He actually thought I was lying to him, even though the internal document showed that there was an escrow of $5,237. I'm like, why is that money there? Why does my statement say I don't have another payment until December? Hello, it's June. But without that communication being properly in place by our own government, thousands and thousands of people like me lost. I mean, I had $282,000 in equity in my home. I was selling my house.
Wait a minute.
That was my
Let me make sure. Let me make sure I'm understanding this. I want to make sure that I'm actually understanding what you just said.
Yep.
You just said, if I'm not mistaken, you were 4 months ahead on your payments, and the judge,
4.5.
4.5 months ahead on your payments, and the judge, they took your home for
because he
how?
The loan was sold 3 times, and this was normal. It's not just me. But I went to court on that, I think a total of 23 times. I have internal documents that the mortgage companies are supposed to produce, and there was an escrow account of $5,300 and either $72 or $37. Actually, my friend Kristen knows the exact number, and it was there, but he didn't know why it was there, because the internal documents from the mortgage company are different than the statements that you get. The only difference here was that my statement said my next bill wasn't due till December, and then there was this escrow. An escrow is an overage of money, so it was never applied. All of that money was never applied to the mortgage, but that's not the problem. The problem is that these banks were using our real estate to pump up their portfolios to make it look like they had more equity. And when this happened, and they were lacking money, they were completely putting people into improper NODs, which are notices of default, and foreclosure. They were not following the actual government guidance. It was called robo-signing, a robotic signing of forced foreclosures and notices of default. And it's illegal. And so people still have an opportunity to go back and sue these banks if they lost their house. They had 10 years to do it. So if you were foreclosed on in 2008 or 9, you can still do it this year. And I think people should start looking at doing class action lawsuits. But lots of people lost their homes, lost their lives, lost their investment. Now, if I sold that property, I may not have gotten the whole $200,000 out of it, but I certainly would have been in a much better position, when it came time for my daughter's college education. It would have been paid for most likely in cash. That's the problem that happens with people right down the street from me. One in every 3 people during this period of time, one in every 3 or one in every 4, lost some kind of finances in their future. And that's why the suicide rate is so high. Not to mention the fact that, November 26th, let's just take Lehman Brothers for example. On November 26th of 2006, when those doors were changed, how many employees across the United States lost their job unexpectedly? Some people were being investigated because they were high enough up in their companies that they're no longer bondable. You have to be bondable to be in the financial services industry. I got bonded in 2001, working for my very first wholesale company out of Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. I'm no longer bondable because I was investigated. A lot of people aren't. And so all of a sudden, now you have to do a job change. Fortunately for me, I had already started a company, and I just went home. So many people have been living in that world their whole entire lives, and they didn't have another career. I've been in it for over 30 years. So if you can imagine, good morning, Wendy, 30 years in one industry, and then suddenly you go to work one morning and doors are changed. It's hard. It's really difficult. That's what the book is about. It's about those moments in life where, it may not be a crisis, but it certainly is, an opportunity or a challenge. It all depends on how your mindset is and how do you get through that. Some people just crumble. That's why I say it's really important for all of us, no matter where we're at and what station we are in our life, to look around and understand it's not just about us. It's about the person standing next to us, in front of us, that homeless person that we pass by on the street and don't even think about. Stop, take a moment, reach out, see if you can help. Why? Because we're given so many talents that we really don't always use. I think that's what we're here for. And I hope that that's what people get out of this book is the messaging, you are enough, absolutely enough to make a difference, to live your dreams, and, to be the resource that you need. You don't need to rely on other people. You need to rely on ourselves and help other people. I think that's the message that I get. I hope they have fun in all of the twists and turns and some of the surprises that the book has. Obviously, the book is really a basis and a foundation for setting up these characters because there is going to be a sequel too. And the movie will definitely dive into a lot about the mortgage crisis. And also, I really do want to emphasize that we do have a crisis here in the United States with suicide. And it's not just here in the United States, the whole world is feeling that hopelessness, which is why the power of we is so impactful. Right now, it's the perfect time for all of us to come together as that we, that big W, that big E, and, join forces and raise each other up. Let's help each other's dreams come true. I think that's really, really why we're here.
Wow. I did not even know that was possible. Man, I feel for you even more now than I did because that's like they literally robbed you of your home they had no right whatsoever. Right. I mean, I know I used to be a bail bondsman.
It was my daughter's home too. So think about that. All of the kids.
Do what?
I said it wasn't just my home.
You're breaking up. I can't.
I said it wasn't
so staticky.
Just my home. Can you hear me?
I can't. I don't know what. I can't. There's no. I don't know. It might be my connection.
Can you guys hear? We lost Tucker. There he is.
Yeah, it's probably.
Now can you hear me?
It's probably my connection. I can't. There we go. Okay, I'm gonna hold the phone. I know that it's not as good that way, but it's all right. I think it's actually my connection. Avril, I'm of real. That's the right way to say it. I got it that time. Okay, of real. You are frozen on the screen. I cannot see you. I think it's my connection, but I will say this. Thank you so very much for joining us today. You really have been a blessing. I'm going to exit out because connection is lost. Okay, everybody, thank you so very much. Y'all are getting to see my set here. Y'all get to actually see. See, it's a sheet around a piece of plywood. But anyway, y'all, I really appreciate y'all joining me on today's episode number 6 of the Stay Humble Hustle Hard podcast. And for those of y'all who came in late, if you don't mind, please hit the let us know. Get it. Let me see hashtag replay down in the comments. Y'all don't forget to show some love. Avril is going to put down all her contact information below. I apologize for the extensiveness of our episode today, but hey, when the topic gets hot, it gets hot. You can't get off of it. I mean, it's and that lady, she is full of value. For those of y'all who don't know, she is the president of a let me see, I want to say it correctly, so I'm actually going to check my notes, of a branding, marketing and consulting company. And this lady, she's worked with everybody from Star Trek to Mercedes Benz. There ain't much that she hasn't done. But for those of y'all, I appreciate y'all for joining me on today's episode number 6 of the Stay Humble Hustle Hard podcast. Please hit the like button, hit that little bell, the notification, so that you get notified every time that I go live on here. If you would like me to be a speaker at your event, all you got to do is hit me up drop me a message, drop me a line. If you want to connect with Avril, if you want to possibly hire her, get her to work on your project, she'll have her contact information down below. Don't forget, go over to YouTube, check out my channel. Just look up Tucker Bearden on YouTube, and I would love to get a subscribe from you. I will subscribe back. All you gotta do is bring content to the table. Again, I appreciate all y'all for joining me today on the Stay Humble Hustle Hard podcast. Don't forget, tomorrow is episode number 7, where we're gonna have Daryl Stern. So join us at 10 a.m. tomorrow. Thank you, Avril, for being our guest today. You were absolutely wonderful. Everybody, be the blessing for others, and you will live within blessings. Thank you.